Welcome cosplayers, my name is Cosplay Vicar. Welcome to my channel. Today's video is a bit different to the other ones. It's not a making video, it's a true story. I want to tell you the story about the day that Colin Furze wanted to build a full-size ATAT in my back garden. Now I'm going to have to take you back to 2016. It might have been 2015, end of 2015, early 2016. I can't quite remember. But this is a totally true story. And Colin Furze, if you get to watch this video, I don't know how you would, but if you do, please, I'd love you to come back and actually do this, because I would love to have something incredible built in my back garden. So let me take you to early 2016. A friend of mine was working for a production company that helped businesses and organizations come up with different kinds of advertising, like out of the box advertising. So I get a phone call from this friend saying, look, there's a particular film coming out soon, and the production company associated with that, they're wanting to work with eBay, and they're wanting to make some really interesting adverts for products that is completely out of the box. How would you feel about working with them? They're looking to find what they described as the nerdiest Star Wars family in the UK. I was like, totally up for that. That sounds like something that we would be so up for as a family. Now, that all happened because the previous year they'd been bringing out Force Awakens, and the Church of England had decided that it'd be a bright idea to put an advert out before Force Awakens advertising Christianity at Christmas. And it was an absolute disaster. It was a disaster because what they made was horribly Church of England, and I can say that as a Church of England priest, it was horrible, and it did not connect with sci-fi fans at all. It came out on the Friday, and on the Monday morning I'm sat with my kids having breakfast. I showed them what the Church of England had produced. Now this was a video of the Lord's Prayer, and it was different people saying different lines from the Lord's Prayer, and I said it's really bad. Like, if you had got a shot for 60 seconds for an advert in front of a Star Wars film, like, kids, what would you have done? And they said it'd been far more interesting if different characters from the Star Wars films said different lines from the Lord's Prayer. I thought that was a bright idea. We looked at the time, it was 8:10 kind of time. We need to take the kids to school at 8:50. We've got a little bit of time, so we quickly grabbed all of the kids' costumes that they owned, Star Wars. So we had Stormtroopers, Darth Vader, Kylo Ren. And what we thought was, right, they put the costumes on them and we'll get them to quickly say a line from the Lord's Prayer as it matched the Star Wars character that they were particularly doing. And we put this video together, and it went live by about 20 to 10 that morning. And it got thousands of views. And I called it like what the Church of England should have done to advertise the Christian faith before Force Awakens or something like that. And it blew up on the internet. Well, it blew up for us. We were getting a lot of views. By that evening, it was taken offline because Sony had seen this video and they deemed it a breach of copyright, so Lucasfilm a breach of copyright because we used the Star Wars music. We actually said, no, it's a parody, it's less than 60 seconds, we should be able to get away with it, and it all kind of worked its way out. It went back online, but when it went back online, it started at 0 views. So we'd put that out. So my friend had seen that. He approached this production company and said, I think I've got a family here that are absolute Star Wars nerds. The production came to me and said, look, we are working for someone who would like to build a full-size AT-AT in their back garden for promotion for eBay, but also Rogue One, the Star Wars film that was coming out later that year. The new Rogue One movie, which I have to say is probably my favourite Star Wars film in the last period of time. This person wants to build a full-size AT-AT. So we went on a process of being interviewed by the production company to find out if we were the family to go for. And it was brilliant. We went through a whole string of phone calls, and one of those was a Skype with them and us. What was super fun was we as a family were in front of our camera, but the production company's cameras were switched off because they didn't want us to see who they were and who was behind the camera. But ultimately it was an interview with us, and questions were fended to one person who asked them, and then kind of we gave answers and everybody else on the other side were listening. Well, later on we find out who was on that call and who was watching. Well, we answered all the questions and it went super well. In fact, we get a phone call from them saying, you're in. Colin Furze wants to build a full-size ATAT in your back garden. And we were like, come on! We were so excited. Until Tower Hamlets Council, that's where we live, absolutely jeopardised the entire thing because they said, hang on, you're in the M25, you're going to have to go for planning permission to build something of this scale in your back garden. Went to planning and planning declined. They were not going to allow us to have a full-size ATAT built in our garden. And just think about it, it would have been amazing. We could have had tons of folk around to our garden where we live. Nothing exciting happens in East London. Nothing's for free. Everything is expensive. If you're a local family, these are not the kind of things that happen. So to have had this built in our garden, the neighbourhood would have had a gift because we'd have just allowed anybody to come and play and use it. But Tower Hamlets Council said no. So the production company came back to us and said, look, Chris, this is now kind of off the table. We are not going to be able to do this. Do you have a family member that owns a house where this would be able to be built outside of London? So I'm thinking about it. There's no chance my mother-in-law would have us build this full size in her back garden. And then I'm thinking about my parents. Well, my parents, where they live, this is the kind of thing they could definitely have built in their garden, but would they? My dad would not remove the rockery to have one of these built full size in the garden. So the answer was no. But I did have a friend. I had a friend who owned a farm. So I said, look, I've got a friend who owns a farm. Please, could you build it in his farm? And then we can go and visit this ATAT whenever we like. He would be up for us going at any time at all. In fact, this friend uses his farm as a place for families to go and gather and do events. This would be a great thing for them to have as something for children to play with on the site. Would that work for you? And they said, no. We want this to be in a family's back garden. There's something about the size and the scale and being in the back garden that is really important for this. So friends, we were dropped. What was really heartbreaking was they did build a full-size ATAT in another family's back garden, and the video went live. And I was so disappointed. It was obvious that the kid that they had chosen, the parents didn't seem to be that big a Star Wars fans. They didn't appear in it at all. They had, you know, we cosplay, we love dressing up as Star Wars characters. We'd have really got into it. There was none of that in the family that were used. I'm sure the kid really enjoyed it, but I would have enjoyed it. So it didn't come to us, and it went to this other family, and I was quite disappointed with the outcome of who got it. Unless you know them, I'd love to meet them. Maybe you'd love to go and see the AT-AT that was built. But it wasn't, what the video that they then brought out was nothing like the video that they talked to us about producing, which was going to be a full cosplay kind of thing as it was revealed. So there you go. The day that Colin Furze wanted to build a full-size AT-AT in my back garden, and it all totally backfired. Friends, if you know Colin Furze, please put a good word in for us. We would love a speeder bike or anything like that. Can you imagine Colin Furze turning up to build something in anybody's back garden? It'd be absolutely genius. He's like the modern-day Wallace and Gromit. That guy is insanely cool. So there you go, the day that Colin Furze wanted to build a AT-AT in my back garden. We never met him, we wish we had, and we wish it had all gone all the way through to final completion. So friends, I hope you find that remotely interesting. We've got some more build videos coming up in the coming weeks. So if you've not subscribed, love you to subscribe. Do give the video a like. Until next time, enjoy cosplaying. We'll see you soon.